Over the last year, we've had a chance to drive several new Saturn products, and they've impressed us. The Saturn Aura is well put together, it handles well, and it is a value leader. Next up, the Saturn Vue. Now that SUV really does have superior handling and power.
You see, both those vehicles, as well as this new 2008 Saturn Astra, are General Motors vehicles that are sold over in Europe under the name Opel. Now, when they bring these cars over to North America, they really don't change a lot. This is to help improve the Saturn image into a division of cars that are well made and have good European road manners.
The Astra is sold as a 3-door hatch or 5-door hatch. The 3-door model is the XR or Sport model, and the 5-door versions are sold as either the base XE or the better-equipped XR. We're going to focus on the 5-door version for today. It will be the sales volume leader. Prices for this model start at $17,900.
GM had to change the headlights and the front and rear bumpers to meet North American crash standards. But when you look at the Opel Astra, you can see that GM didn't change things much at all. The front headlights are very large with a touch of chrome across the grille. The hood is long and the silhouette is very similar to other hatches in this class like the Mazda 3 or the Toyota Matrix. The backlights kind of remind us of the Nissan Versa.
Around the back of the Astra, there's another splash of chrome across here. You put your hand inside to release the trunk and you realize it's not a lever. It's one of those soft-touch rubber switches. You usually find that in more expensive cars. The inside of the cargo area has soft carpet. It's nicely finished. Of course, the back seats fold down and split. You kind of expect that in this class of car. But it's when you get inside and you sit inside the new Astra that you realize that it has some features that you typically don't see until you get into more expensive cars.
Zach's right. Even though some of these features are optional, the fact that they're even offered at all is very unique. The headlights have an automatic setting, so you don't have to turn them on at night. And the signal light has a unique feature. You just tap it once, and it signals for 3 cycles. The sunroof is huge, covering the front and rear seats, and it has an electric sunshade. The power windows have automatic down for all 4 doors. The seat is height adjustable, and the steering wheel has tilt and telescopic. The seats are covered in a stylish, quality fabric and offer plenty of support. Plus, they feature whiplash protection for the front passengers. The dash features soft-touch materials, and the doors have cloth inserts for added texture.
Now, this car is roomy. There's plenty of legroom in the front here. The back seat's a good size as well. Considering this is a compact car, it really is quite roomy. Now, the most dominant feature on the inside of this car is the center display here. It houses a trip computer and the radio, that along with the satin finish and the sea of buttons here. I don't know what it is. It's kind of cold looking and stark. For me, it just kind of misses the mark.
Now, a big thing for me is the lack of cup holders. There's only one up front, and it's actually located kind of back here where you can't see it. I've always got a water bottle or a coffee with me, and if you've got somebody else sitting in this front seat and they've got a coffee, there's nowhere else to put them. I have to be honest, this would actually be a deal breaker for me if I was looking at buying this car. And I know Zach really likes the hard, firm seats, but for me, they're just too hard, and I'd like something a little bit on the softer side.
Well, that's what the passenger becomes, the dual cup holder, just like that. The thing is, this car is well equipped safety-wise, front, side curtain airbags, all standard, and available stability control.
All of the Astras have the same 1.8-liter 4-cylinder engine with 138 horsepower and 125 pound-feet of torque. This is very similar to the Honda Civic 1.8-liter engine with 140 horsepower. Saturn didn't go the same route as some of the other manufacturers by offering a 2 or a 2.3-liter engine. Instead, the Astra is all about practical transportation and efficiency. Fuel consumption is rated at 8.4 liters per 100 kilometers in the city and 6.6 on the highway. That works out to 34 miles per gallon in the city and 43 on the highway. The Astra is equipped with either a 5-speed manual transmission or optional 4-speed automatic. Some might find it surprising that a 5-speed auto isn't used, but this one does a good job. It's smooth on upshifts and quick to downshift. Toyota also took this approach and stayed with a 4-speed auto in their new 2009 Corolla. The Astra is a great handling car. It's got a very quiet interior and very smooth ride. But when I think of the other class leaders in the compact car segment, like the Mazda 3 with its great handling and the Honda Civic with its very unique styling, there's really nothing about the Astra that stands out.
The steering feel on the Astra is pretty good considering it has an electric assist system which is different than the conventional hydraulic system. The other thing I like about the Astra, there are ABS brakes on this car but discs all the way around. A lot of cars in this class come with front discs and rear drums. They didn't fall into that trap. Since this car is designed and built in Europe, it has solid handling. The 3-door version has the sportier suspension, so if you really want handling over room, that's the one to get. The suspension on the 5-door we have here is well dampened. The Astra soaks up bumps with ease, the platform is very capable in the corners, and the standard 16-inch wheels give the driver a sense of stability. Now we mentioned there's only one engine featured in this car, a 1.8 liter, just under 140 horsepower. If you're somebody who likes a little bit more dynamic driving, you probably want the manual shift to wring a little bit more out of that engine. This vehicle kind of reminds me of the bigger brother Aura. It's got some nice features in here we've touched on already. It's got a very pleasant and quiet ride, but it's a little smaller and less expensive.
I think this Astra is going to get a lot of attention. It's got a great starting price and it has some very unique features. This EX with the huge sunroof, the automatic transmission, the alloy wheels, heated seats, and stability control brings the price to just $23,345. Now that's some good value, but what about some of the niggly problems?
Niggly in a moment. First the likes. And you know, the one thing about this car I really do like is the size. Now it's in the compact class, but it's like the Three Bears car. It's not too big, it's not too small. There's plenty of room for people on the inside and a useful trunk. You know what? It offers a lot of value. We talked about all the great features in there. I think the price is attractive. Also the ride, not just the handling, the European handling, also the way it's dampened. It's smooth and quiet on the inside for the passengers as well. On the downside, the engine can feel a little bit underpowered when you get it with the automatic transmission. What would help is if there was a shiftable mode for you to move the transmission up and down on your own. Now, the one thing we forgot to mention in the body of our review here, there's no MP3 jack. In this day and age, when they're trying to appeal to younger people, that's definitely a must-have. What do you think about it?
Well, you know what, Zach? I thought the interior was very quiet. It's got a really smooth, comfortable ride with nice, smooth acceleration. And I like a lot of those available options, especially that huge sunroof. Now, on the downside, it would have been nice if they would have had a sedan version available. It would have been nice if they had a couple of other engine choices available. And I know I've already mentioned this, but the fact that there's only one cup holder is a deal breaker for me. I really wish they just would have at least put one more in the front.
It's interesting. This is a real clash between cultures, European and North American. This car made in Europe. Europeans look down on us North Americans for drinking coffee while we drive our cars, and we wouldn't even think about going out in the morning without having a coffee in our cars. It's interesting that someone like Lacey wouldn't even consider buying this car because it doesn't have two cup holders. For something as inexpensive as that, they might lose sales.
You know what, Zach? I'll bet you a grande caramel macchiato that they'll have to fix it for next year.
For complete specs, go to our website at drivingtelevision.com.